This is an ABC 45 News winter storm update here on this Sunday morning. We've got winter storm warnings in effect here across our entire viewing area. That goes into effect until 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. We've got a lot of sleet and snow already accumulating, and we are expecting to see that transition from snow and sleet to freezing rain late this morning into the afternoon. There have been some changes in the forecast, and that is that we have seen the sleet and snow a little bit longer, and the longer that we hold on to that sleet, the better we're going to be for seeing the freezing rain coming in later, holding off on those higher totals. But one thing that you can see here, it is very cold. The temperatures right now are sitting into the mid-teens, and there have been some breaks, but when we are seeing the breaks, you're probably seeing very light sleet or very light freezing mist and drizzle. And where we are seeing the precipitation here on radar, we continue to see that steady sleet. But again, we are expecting more precipitation to move in. We've got another burst coming in over western North Carolina and parts of Charlotte. This is all moving in to the northeast here. So if you're not seeing that steadier precipitation, we're going to have bouts of it, and then we'll have a line of very heavy freezing rain later on this afternoon and evening. Now, it feels very cold. The wind gust out there from time to time picks up. It feels more like 1 degree right now in Greensboro. So if you're out and about, going out sledding with your kids or trying to play into the sleet and snow, make sure that you bundle up in layers. It is going to be brutally cold out there. Actual temperatures warming into the mid-20s later on this afternoon with sleet and freezing rain continuing. Now, a little bit more on the conditions outside. Let's turn it over to Elizabeth Ramirez. She's outside of our studio right now.
Hey, Jonathan, we are back outside. Covered. The road is really covered in snow and a little bit of ice, a little bit of sleet, a little bit of everything here. Now, something that I just want you guys to take a look at is as you can see, the conditions are not good right now to be out on the roads, as you saw on that. Now, attention to stay home and to clear these roads. Now, city officials say that Guilford County, Forsyth, Rockingham, and Alamance are all either covered with snow or they're covered with ice, those interstates and those city roads. So I just want you guys to make sure that you guys are at home comfy. Another thing that we also want to talk about is frostbite. Please make sure that if you are out with your kids or you take your dogs out, to not be out too long, because frostbite is definitely something that can still happen to you all, and it is cold out here. That's all I have for you guys right now, and we'll be back in a few. Jonathan, back to you.
Don't be that guy. I think he might have been trying to show off there. That is very dangerous to do. Just drive safe if you are going to be out and about on the roads. You can see across the Carolinas, we continue to see that moisture moving in, sleet and freezing rain. At times, we're seeing that transition into freezing rain later on this morning. And notice the line off towards the west. You can see very heavy rain. In fact, there's actually been some lightning strikes with this. Later on this afternoon and evening, as this line pushes in, there's a possibility that we could get what we call thunder ice, kind of like thunder snow. This would be freezing rain moving in, but these yellows and oranges embedded in this line here, that is very heavy rain or freezing rain falling. So we're going to have to watch out for that trend as we head throughout the later afternoon and evening. Futurecast showing us we'll continue with our wintry precipitation. And again, it's showing that we get a little dry slot, but I don't really buy that. I think we're going to continue to see a lot of that moisture, even if it's light, and that will still help to accumulate on power lines and trees and even on the roadways. Notice temperatures not warming up at all. It is going to be brutally cold out there with temperatures into the low and mid 20s, and we'll continue to see the rain showers, the freezing rain throughout about 6, 7, 8 o'clock this evening, and then it'll start to wind down after about 8. But maybe through about midnight or so, we still could have some of that freezing mist and drizzle to add on. You just don't see it on Futurecast, kind of like you wouldn't see it on radar. So we're going to have to keep in mind that that may also add to those totals, because the lighter the freezing rain is, it actually floats around in the air, and it allows for that freezing rain to stick a little bit better than heavier rain falling out there. So keep that in mind, and it's just going to be brutally cold. I do think the one thing that we're seeing, that extensive period of sleet right now, is going to hold off on those ice accumulations over a half an inch. I definitely think that we're going to have a great possibility of seeing up to 1/4 of an inch, and then just shy probably of a half an inch the longer that we see that sleet. So that is some good news, but anytime you get above 1/4 of an inch of ice, you start to get scattered to widespread power outages, because that ice adds about 500 pounds or more on the power lines. So one, we're going to be dealing with freezing rain going throughout the afternoon. Dangerous travel. Again, if you don't have to be out on the roads, just stay home in your nice warm home. It is going to be cold out there, and the winds are going to be a big problem this afternoon into the evening. And once we see that ice accumulating, and then tomorrow morning, we could see the winds gusting. So we may not see as much power outages today as we might see them come tomorrow morning, because once the ice sets in, it has a little bit of time to kind of sag, to add more weight. And so then that will kind of weaken the trees a little bit more, and may create more power outages tomorrow morning. So very high impacts still expected this all day long. We are just getting started here with our storm system. I know that it may not seem like it, but we've got more precipitation on the way, with snow, sleet, early this morning, and then transitioning to freezing rain. We're holding steady with that sleet right now, but things are looking much better. As far as road conditions go, we're looking at really treacherous road conditions throughout the day, even into tomorrow. I don't really expect to see roads improving maybe until sometime late on Tuesday or even into Wednesday. We're going to see a lot of refreezing this week. And of course, it's just going to be extremely cold. Tomorrow, we may get to 32, but that may come early, and then we're back into the 20s by the evening hours. Of course, we'll have more updates throughout the day at the top of the hour, every hour. Until then, though, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jonathan Wendt. Now back to regular programming.